Hi, hope you all are doing good. So in this video, we'll be focusing on one more problem statement, which is of medium complexity, which we took it from LeetCode, right? So the problem statement here is like we are trying to get the customer who bought all the products. We have the sample data given for us, right? So we have customer data, we have products data, right? We are just going to get those customers who bought all the products. Here is the output expected. We should be getting only those customers where they have purchased all the products, right? So this question I have taken as usual from LeetCode, right? So if you go here, what is the 1045, right? So let's go there. Let's see that right 1045. Yeah, here is the question, right? So we are trying to solve this problem. Customers who bought all the products, right? Okay. So let's try to understand the data first, then we'll go to the implementation, right? So here we have a customer data where we have customer ID. These are the values for customers. Okay. And we have a product key. We have these values. And we have a product table. I mean product data, sample data, right? We have two product keys there. Okay. And this is the table structure that since we are going to practice it for Databricks PySpark, right? So we are not going to create this table. We could have used Unity catalog table and all that. But since it is mainly from interview perspective, we are going to focus on data frame as well, right? That's the reason I am not going to create these tables and all that. So we'll be focusing on creating this data sets using data frame and Spark SQL style, right? So we have the source data. Source tables here, like those two customer and product data available with us, and we wanted to get the write a solution to report the customer IDs from customers table that bought all the products in the product table, right? So basically, you're trying to get the customer who bought all products, right? So now let's start doing the practical. We'll understand how we are going to do that, right? So let's go here. Right, I'll just get the code. So this is the code that will be running through, right? So here in the first phase, we are trying to get the data setup, right? Source data setup. So we're not going to spend much time on this one, going this all data setup going forward, because this is not our intention to learn. Our main intention, how we are going to solve the problem, right? That's what we're trying to do it, right? Okay. So, right. So in the step 2, we'll be seeing like how we can write the Spark SQL code to get the expected output, right? So here we'll be seeing that. And finally, we'll be seeing how we can do the same code using DataFrame API style, right? So which is going to be after the interviews. That's the reason we will be focusing, we will not be missing this as well, right? So this is the main thing. So now let's start doing the practical. So I'll be just copy pasting it there just to set up the initial data to start the practical, right? So I'll just go there. I'll copy paste it here. So what we are trying to do it here is like we are just trying to set up the source, the tables that we are going to consider for our practical, right? So here, this is the customer data, this is your product data. That's what we are trying to set up initially, right? So we'll not spend much time on this one. So here, as usual, it is a print statement, and as you see, here we are trying to uh, bring the inputs to get the schema definition and data frame created, right? So you're just importing those which is needed, right? And here is the customer data, sample data that we have given in the LeetCode. This is the customer's data that I have taken. This is the products data, sample data that I have taken. As it is, we are taking, we are not doing any different data sets, right? So, and we are just setting the schema for this customer data and products data here. We're just giving customer ID as integer type. All this, since all this data are integer types, right? So we are just taking it integer, right? Then we are creating a data frame using those sample data and the schemas that we have taken it here, right? So we are just going to create two data frames here, one for customer, one for the product, right? And we are just going to create two temporary tables, like using which we'll be able to query as if we are in a as if you are using a relational table, right? Which keeps our things easy, right? So we're just going to create some tables, customer and product tables, and we'll be seeing them, right? So basically this is the data setup step, right? So we are just, let's run this one. Okay, so now our sample data, which we are trying to, before trying to solve our problem, right? We have the sample data ready. Now we'll go to the step 2, right? You see, we have customer ID, product ID. It is exactly same as in the here and in the LeetCode as well, right? So we have just check in the same thing. Okay. Just perfect. Right. So let's go to the second step. Now just going to add one more text with this. Okay. So now let's understand this. So this problem statement is very simple. It's not complex, right? But we just need to understand the approach, like how we should solve it in a real time, right? So we should build the thought process. If you see, the final query is very small and it is very easy, but it is not that the concept. We should understand like the approach, like how we should go when we find a problem, right? So what we're trying to do it here using Spark SQL, we're just printing, we are just trying to print that statement. Okay, and here we're just breaking the steps, like how we'll be approaching towards the solutions, right? Let me run this one first, then we'll come to this query. Let me run this, I'll then explain you, right? That is done it. Okay. So here, what if you see it in the first statement, what we are trying to do, right? These are all print statement. Now here, we are just trying to select the data. So before writing any problems, right, we should know, okay, what data actually we are trying to deal with, right? So it should understand the data first. So this is the first step that I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to run the statement. It is just a select, right? Nothing is there. So you see, we are just getting the data. By seeing this data, we should understand, okay, we have two customers ID. I have ordered it, so that we'll get a clear view of the data, like what all data is there and all that, right? So you see, it is ordered by. So now we have customer 1 has a product key 6 and customer 1 has the product key 5, right? Similarly, customer 2 has 6 product, product key 6, and 3 has 2 product keys 5, 6, right? So now we understood the data. Now let's go to the second step, what I have done it, right? So here we are just trying to count the distinct product keys that is used in the customer tables, right? So here, let's see, we have got the distinct product keys, right? So the count of the distinct products. Why we are choosing distinct? Because now we do not have duplicates here, but when real time the data grows, right, we should be having a distinct key. Other than that, our data will go wrong, right? So we should be filtering on, we should be picking the distinct product keys so that our result will get correct, right? So we are just counting the number of product keys that is available for the customer ID here based on the group by, right? We are just doing a group by there, group by customer ID. We are just trying to get the count, right? So now that you understood, okay, this is our data, and we have, okay, so we have for customer ID 1, we have 2 products keys, and customer 3, we have 2 products key, and customer 2, we have only 1 product key, right? So what is our intention here is, next is, right, we should find the customer, right? And we should also see, let's see in the steps 3, we have the number of, it is simple, like we are just trying to get the count of this product, total products available in this product table, right? So since we have two tables right here, if you see, we have seen this table, we have two records here, right? No doubt we have two records here, so we need not to count. But when it comes to real time, we'll be having multiple millions of record, right? So in that case, like we cannot just by seeing you cannot count it. So we just need to have, we need to be just checking, okay, how many distinct, how many product keys is available. Like if you see here, why I have not given distinct here, since the product key is the only column in this table and it's a primary key. So obviously we'll not be having duplicate, or else for your surety, if you want, you can add a distinct here as well. So we'll get only the distinct product keys, right? So now you see, we have got the distinct is 2, right? So now our final step is like, we are trying to get those customers, those who has purchased all the product in the sense, if you see in this table, right, we have two records, right? All the products means 5, 6. And in this one, if you see, one has two products, that is 5 and 6, and 3 also has 5 and 6, but 2 doesn't have 5. It has only one product, 6. Product is 6, right? So our intention should be, okay, we'll just now, since we are clear on what we are trying to do now, so we have since we have the counts here already available, right? We're just going to get those records where the count is exactly matching to this 2, right? So here what we are trying to do, we have got everything, right? Select count star from group by, anyway we have done it, having count of distinct product key, right, where count is equal to 2. Here if you see, right, since we have the table size is less, even if you're not writing this count status, if you're not checking it, is fine, but in big tables it will it is matter, we need to understand, right? So now we have seen, like, okay, with this we are able to reach our final approach, right? So we could have not done these steps directly, we can write this query, but since we are in the initial phase and we are just going to solve a very simple problem, right, that is okay, but we should build our thought process in a way that how do you break the requirement and get to the right solution, right? So we need to think stepwise, then only we'll be able to write performant queries and uh, which can be used in production as well, right? So we should do performance testing and all that before we proceed, right? So that way we need to think. It is not like, okay, just write this query and it is done. No, we should build the thought process in that way. So since we are in the early phase, we are just trying to see some sample examples, right? Small examples, but going forward it will become complex. So in that case, we should have a proper thought process in place to approach towards the solution, right? So now, if you see, we have got the final output which is expected at 1 and 3 that we are getting based on the this last query's output, right? So if you see here, this is expected, right? So we have gone through all the steps and we have seen that, okay, we are reaching to the final output which is expected. So now, since we are done with the Spark SQL style, then let's go for the data frame side, right? So I'm just going to open another tab. So now you see, so we are just trying to do some print statement for better understanding. Okay, so here we are just counting the products DF, right? So products, if you remember, we have done it in the above, right? Products DF, we have done it here. You see, products DF, we have done it here. So that same product data frame we are taking and getting the count of. So we, as we know, we have two records only. We'll just get the count of 2 here, and we are just going to create another data frame. Okay, so here we'll be storing the final result, right? So customer DF, we have taken it here, customer DF, which have the customer data, right? And now this DF has our products data count. What we'll be doing, the same thing we'll be applying, but it is in the way of data frame style of coding, right? So we're just doing a group by, same thing we have done in Spark SQL as well, right? So we are just doing a group by, which is a function here in DataFrame, right? We are just going to do a aggregate on this count of distinct product keys, right? We have a function with which counts a distinct product, distinct IDs, right? So we have this function, we are using that, and this dot alias is the alias name that we are giving to the column, and on that column we are trying to filter out this where we have purchase or total product number is 2, right? So here we are just doing a filter so that we'll get only those customers who purchased all the products, right? And finally we are selecting from finally we are selecting the customer ID only, right? So let's run this one. You see, we are getting the same output, right? So it doesn't matter whether you use Spark SQL or DataFrame, right? We should get the same output, right? So now let's just do a quick recap. So we have done the we have set up the data required for the practical initially in the first phase. Then we have seen like using Spark SQL how we can write the code and how we can break the steps and do it, right? We just build a thought process, right? And finally we have written this query which gives our final expected output, right? So we have seen that using PySpark and I have seen all this. So then we have seen it using our data frames, right? So now one thing is pending. We just wanted to verify this one, right? So whether it is running fine in the relational database or not, that we are just trying to check it in the LeetCode, right? So this is the question. So let me copy paste it here and I'll just run it. Okay. So it should work. You see, it is working, right? We are getting the expected output, right? So it concludes that like whatever queries that if somebody has done already already know that okay how to write SQL queries, just migrating to the PySpark way of coding is not difficult because it is all same, but we just need to learn like how we can familiarize with the process, right? So this is how we can write this programs, right? So I hope you all got it now. So yeah, if you all are good, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.